Says we're live. We got four viewers.
All
Excellent
right, let's do it.
connection. Oh, there we go. I can see it. Okay. We are live after a few technical difficulties. Hey, everyone. Welcome to the Hazy Sports Podcast. Happy to be here with you. We are, hold on.
Ben said it's working.
Sorry, everyone. I was listening to the YouTube stream here on my side, so there's a bit of a delay, and I was here. That's what you were hearing back. So let's start that again. Welcome. We are live, Hazy Sports Podcast style. Hazy Night in Canada, our first episode
First
here.
ever.
Yeah, we are pumped to be here, after hours style. Charlie's got the mood lighting going there. I got things fired up a little more bright here, but we're coming at you. Game 6 tonight. Winnipeg, Dallas. It's going to be a doozy. We're pumped up. Happy Victoria Day long weekend to everybody out there across the country. At least for our Canadian listeners here. Charlie, 30 years ago, we would be, in the midst of a 3-day bender up at Sauble Beach. Things have gotten a little more tame over the years, but it's nice to enjoy a beer with you here virtually as we get fired up for a big game tonight.
Cheers, buddy. Yeah, we'd be probably nursing a hangover, freezing our asses off at North Sauble Sands, hearing about a stabbing at another campground. So I feel a little safer here tonight.
Yeah, absolutely. That packing list used to include, I think, a sleeping bag, maybe a pillow, a tent if you're lucky, and a couple cases of beer, and about three packs of Red Hots and some buns, and that would usually have to see you through till the Monday when you piled back in the car to come home.
Simpler times, Jason. Simpler
But
times.
yeah, I kind of enjoy being in the cozy confines of the home here. But yeah, what a great hockey weekend and sports weekend actually for this Victoria Day weekend. Of course, the Leafs bounced back last night to force a game 7, so they've evened things up. Now we got big game 6 tonight. Jets, Stars. We got game 7 tomorrow. We got a game 7 in the NBA tomorrow. So. Yeah, it's quite a sporting weekend here. But yeah, let's get things kicked off for tonight. We're about half an hour away from puck drop here. I'm just looking over, seeing the Sportsnet panel, Elliot Friedman holding court here. I got to say, he's looking a little better. We were giving him a hard time about looking a little rough in that first round. I don't know if he got a spray tan or maybe just got some time on the beach while he was covering the Panthers. He's looking a little more fresh and engaged here.
He's looking a little bronze and like he maybe hit the hyperbaric chamber for a couple days. Or he just slept for like 36 straight hours.
I think so, yeah. But whatever he's doing, it's working. So nice to see him back. We've got that rotating panel of hosts on the broadcast. We were pretty hard on Derek Lalonde there in a previous episode. They let him go, but now then they had Botterill back on there. Yeah, it just seems to be a rotating group where I wish they would just keep it to 4. I mean, 4 is plenty of people to give an opinion on these segments. Do we really need a 5th person on there?
I thought Blake Wheeler was actually pretty good. I wouldn't say he added anything like that wasn't, wouldn't have already been added, but I definitely enjoyed him on there more than Lalonde.
Yeah, I thought he was really good too, especially for a guy that probably hasn't got as much experience with it. But yeah, made some interesting points, seemed to gel with the group pretty well. Yeah, so we'll keep an eye if anybody's listening here. We got one eye on the game. We'll make sure we don't go long into the game. We'll be done before the national anthems. But thanks for joining us, pre-gaming with us. Hope you got a cold one because it's going to be a good night. Unfortunately, we do kind of got to start off with some somber news as one of the main storylines today. Tragically, Mark Scheifele's father passed away last night. Bit of a gut punch, definitely to hear that. Even though we don't even know these guys personally, we watch them play hockey. We're following them so closely that in a weird way, it almost does feel like somebody you know, and so when you hear, somebody's father like that passes away suddenly, it's just a gut punch, and it certainly puts everything else in perspective. So we just wanted to kind of acknowledge that. There's not a lot you can say that doesn't sound cliche, but definitely thinking of Scheifele and his family, and yeah, I don't know if you had any thoughts on that one, Charlie.
Well, this is either going to go one or two ways, right? You're either going to get he's obviously way too distracted because it's pretty crushing news to get just before, an elimination game, or you're going to get the Brett Favre, just come out and put on an unbelievable show. And you got to think the team's going to be just wound right up now, right? Like let's do this not only for Mark but for his dad, and get it back home to Winnipeg. So that's the way I'm leaning. Like, I think the Jets are going to come out, and I just think they're going to refuse to lose tonight.
Yeah, I think so too. I think it's the whether that emotion can be harnessed and held in check versus kind of getting too emotional and out of your sort of system. But I'm expecting, yeah, they're gonna, leave it all on the line, probably, and get their first road win of the playoffs here. So, yeah, obviously the main storyline, kind of a shitty thing to have to kick things off with, but yeah, I guess hopefully he can sort of use that emotion and use this hockey game as an outlet. I'm sure he's in total shock right now, and probably getting out there and playing hockey and just taking his mind off of it, and taking all that anxiety or whatever he's feeling, and just using the hockey game as an outlet is probably better than just being on his own and keeping all that bottled up. But never an easy thing to go through, and could only imagine the mix of emotions as you're going into one of the biggest hockey games of your life, and dealing with that at the same time. But yeah, we'll hope to see the team really rally around him and put on a good performance, and set up what should be a great game. Kind of the main storyline, if aside from that, coming into it, was his little dust up with Jamie Benn there at the end of the last game. Ben, known for sort of crossing the line and throwing in a cheap shot here and there. He laid a pretty good cross check in the face to who was it on Colorado, Nikushkin,
Yeah.
earlier in the playoffs. So he's been known to get his wires crossed and play a little bit on the edge. But what did you think of that play?
It was so cheap, right? Like, he sees that the ref has tied Shifley up, so he pretty much can't defend himself, and he waits for the perfect moment and then just cranks him. And I don't know, this guy has been going downhill for the last couple of years. Like, I was just looking at his numbers for the playoffs. He's only playing 13 minutes a game. He's -6 so far in the playoffs. If you watch him out there, he can't keep up to the play anymore. So he's got two options. He can stand in front of the net, and do the old Dave Anderchuk, or he can do the cheap shit that he's been doing and has been doing for the last couple of years. And I don't know. I thought that was one of the most Bush League things I've ever seen, when, you can really see the ref has tied up the other guy's arms. So let's punch him in the face. Like,
Yeah, I will say it did look like Shifley embellished it a tad. Like, it did look like that hard of a left, but either way, pretty dirty. But probably the type of thing that Leafs fans would have liked to see somebody on the Leafs do when they were getting their ass kicked against Florida in Game 5. Like, at least it was obvious Dallas was going to lose that game. It was an opportunity to send a message. Yes, dirty, but probably the Leafs would have liked to have a little bit of that. Have somebody step up and show that they actually cared. Of course, they played well last night, but yeah, that Ben has that look in his eyes that there's some kind of tough guys in the NHL where they say, "Oh, he's a menace on the ice, but he's a real teddy bear outside of the arena." I don't get that impression with Jamie Benn. I kind of get the impression he seems like the type of there's just that look in his eye of violence and nastiness where I think you look at him the wrong way at the grocery store, he might knock your teeth out.
He looks fucking miserable, like all the time. Like, I don't know if you remember last year there's a clip with him and Zach Hyman. I'm sure, have you seen it where he puts his arm around him?
Yes.
And then it's almost like
yes.
a big brother and he's pushing him and throws his stick. And I'm like, this guy's just a dick.
Yeah, there is something a little bit different with him, but yeah, so it'll be interesting to see if Dallas can kind of control their emotions, and how Winnipeg manages the emotions of everything that they got going on. Any other storylines? Those were kind of the two key ones here. What else are you looking for this game?
You mentioned before we came on here the goaltending, right? Like, it's not just Hellebuck, can he finally get one on the road? But this is like a audition for the U.S. national team, right? For the Olympics coming up. Because up until, now I would say Hellebuck would have been a shoo-in, but he's clearly got something going on mentally when he's not at home. And it's kind of crazy. They showed his goals against on the road, and it's like it's over 6.5. Like, that you can't win with a goalie playing like that in these clutch games. It's kind of nuts.
Yeah, it's got to be something going on between the ears because the crowd Hellebuck chants can't be getting in his head that much. I always wondered that. I want to ask a goalie that sometime is when they hear the crowd Hellebuck. Does that actually fuck with them, or mess with them, or does that something they don't even, they're so dialed in and they don't hear?
On I think it was Oilers Nation, they were talking to Devin Dubnyk, who used to play for Edmonton, and he was talking about the chants and stuff, and he's like, "Oh yeah, you definitely hear it." He's like, "You obviously can't help but hear it. You just gotta kind of block it out." But he said it's just there, and it does kind of mess with you a little bit, especially if you're already a little off your game. So I thought that was kind of cool that he even talked about it.
I guess it'd be kind of like you're on the first tee off block with all your buddies standing behind you, and they're chirping you. Don't shank this. Don't you got a lot of people watching here. It would be like that times 100 probably.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that was kind of what I was wondering too. Is the winning goalie from this series, is that pretty much solidify them as the number one option in net for the U.S. Olympic team next year, or do you think there's say Dallas goes on to win this series? Hellebuck has had some good games, but obviously he's been shaky at times. Say Dallas goes on to win this, but then Hellebuck has his usual stellar regular season stats going. Do you go back to Hellebuck, or do you kind of stick with Ottinger as more of the big game goalie?
I think Hellebuck gets the early nod, and I think if anything goes south, I think that's it, right? Like he's had his shot, and he's clearly proven once it gets a little tense that he's not as dependable as he is in a regular season. Like, I think it'll be a pretty short leash for the U.S. if that's the way it goes. But
Well, it'll be interesting to see, but certainly that's what's great about these games is guys are playing for their legacies. You know how these series, the outcomes of these series, has so much to do with how we remember these players. So that'll be interesting. Um, excuse me. Your Oilers have a little time to rest here. They made light work of the Golden Knights. I mean, I think that series was probably closer than the 4-1 series outcome would indicate. But who do you like as an Oilers fan? Who do you think matches up? They match up better with between the Jets and the Stars, or who would you like to see them play in the conference finals?
That's a tough one. I think I would rather play Dallas because they actually for some reason play Dallas pretty well. Um, in the COVID season, they actually beat Winnipeg every single game of the regular season, and then were promptly put out by Winnipeg in the playoffs. Um, yeah, it's crazy to say, but I think it's a better matchup against Dallas just because it's a little less physical team. And I think Edmonton's speed will give Dallas issues. Like Colorado's speed kind of gave them some problems early. Dallas figured it out. Well, Ranton figured it out. But I think I like that matchup a little bit better.
Yeah, well, I guess neither team will be an easy matchup, but
No, no.
before tonight, I honestly was thinking Dallas was going to wrap this up, get the job done. But yeah, it's with that emotional sort of tidal wave going through the Jets locker room right now. It's you just almost feel like the hockey gods are going to come in there and make sure they get this win and at least take it to Game 7. So it'll be interesting to see. Anything else you're keeping an eye on? Players you're looking for, X factors, or just interesting storylines?
Just if Kyle Connor can stay on this heater. I don't know if you saw the in Winnipeg, they changed the Kentucky Fried Chicken to Kyle fucking Connor, and he's on the buckets and everything.
I didn't see that, but that's
Yeah,
awesome.
so I guess like they McDonald's did it for McDavid in Edmonton after they won the Four Nations. So I guess this trend of fast food hopping on the hockey momentum train is continued. So Kyle Connor's on the actual chicken bucket wearing the little tie that Colonel Sanders would wear.
Oh,
It's actually brilliant marketing, I think.
yeah, that's awesome. Well, yeah, that'll be. We'll see how if that's a sort of a good luck boost for Kyle there with KFC behind him. But I guess the other thing I'm keeping an eye on is we got Heskinen back. Obviously, he's been back now for a little bit, but seeing him pick up steam, get more comfortable. Um, you know, Dallas has basically half of Team Finland, or at least their best players, with Granlund getting a hat trick. There's not much more you can say about what Rantanen's doing here. Um, you know, Hinsk obviously, and Heskinen now getting healthier. I'm expecting that Finnish Mafia to be ready to play tonight. If they could make a trade for Barkov, they'd really be got something going. But yeah, other than that, not too many more things I'm really paying attention to. I think I want to see how both teams manage the emotion of sort of the tragedy from last night. Obviously that goaltender battle's always going to be interesting to see who can kind of step up more there. And from there, we just sort of again, neither of us are real true fans of either of these teams, so it's kind of one of those nice times where emotionally you can disconnect, just sit back and enjoy the ride here. It's Saturday night, long weekend. But what does always make things interesting is slapping a few bets down there. So we've got a couple of hazy specials for you guys. We wouldn't leave you hanging here. We've got a pretty good record. Follow us on Instagram for the pretty regular hockey picks. Doing well. That's more Charlie. Oh, I got a text from my dad here. Oh, my dad says I'm happy. Oh, yeah, I'll read that later. Don't want to walk and chew gum, Dad, but thanks for connecting here in mid live stream. Yeah, I'm not sure. Yeah, interesting to see how many viewers we actually have right now. I'm not good enough with the analytics here to figure it out here, but I'm sure we'll get some reports after. But yeah, let's get to those picks, Charlie. So I talked about the Finnish Mafia. I'm calling this my Finnish Mafia parlay. I'm picking Rantanen, Hinsk, and Heiskanen all to get a point. That's going to get you plus 268. But if you're on FanDuel, there's a 30% profit boost that takes that up to plus 340. Not a bad haul there if that comes through. So that's the old T-bone special here. The C Money special, you're going a little bit of a different way. Break that one down for me.
Yeah, I'm going points as well, but I'm taking your boy Hintz because I think he's going to be all over the power play one and everything. And then I'm taking Wyatt Johnson to get a point because he's been shooting the lights out. He just hasn't found the net too often. Then I'm taking Gabe Vilardi for the Jets to also get a point. And that gets you, what, plus 430, I believe?
Yeah, plus 430. That's some solid value there that you're giving to the Hazy fans, Charlie. Nicely done. I'll add one more. I call this my take the money and run special. I always like to have one bet where I can collect my winnings early if it comes through. And so I always like the shot. A shot within the first 5 minutes prop. If that comes through, then I can maybe parlay that into a live action bet and double down on that. But I'm taking, the inspired, emotional Mark Scheifele to get a shot in the first 5 minutes. That pays plus 440, I believe. Last I checked. I think the guys are going to be feeding them, trying to get them going early, trying to get that momentum. I'm cheering him for him to do well and have a great night tonight. So, yeah, why not ride that a little bit on the wager side too? So take the money and run T-bone style. $5 I'm throwing down, no big deal, but we'll see if we can parlay that into something a little more spectacular. Other than that, I think we're both feeling like Winnipeg gets the win tonight. Just a team of destiny. The hockey gods are going to be on their side and set up one more game 7 here.
I want to see another whiteout back in Winnipeg, right? Like let's get it back there and see what happens.
Yeah, for sure. So we got game 6 tonight. I see a team in full warm up. We got Scott Oak down doing the on ice interviews. We're just a few minutes here away from the national anthems here, so I think it's probably time to wrap things up. Charlie and I are going to be recording our official episode for our weekly podcast tomorrow morning, so we'll be able to have some analysis on that or on the game for tonight there. A little preview of Leafs-Panthers Game 7, and yeah, we got the hockey action just keeps on rolling. We've got Memorial Cup set up starting next week as well.
I was just watching a bit of the Moncton game. I don't know if you've seen their home uniform and helmet.
Not lately, no. Just the logo with the cat, big cat
man.
coming in.
They had this. It was pretty clean. It's just all black, and it has like a cat scratch across the jersey and across the helmet. Looked pretty sick.
Oh, nice. Well, I'm looking forward to that. I do like the setup of the Memorial Cup where they have basically they do the round robin and then that decides sort of the next round. So it's just one game per day. I think the first game starts next Friday, and then we have one game per day. Key matchup: Medicine Hat, Gavin McKenna going against the juggernaut London Knights. See if anybody can slow those Knights down. That game is May 27th. So we got a little while to wait for that, but yeah, we're getting ahead of ourselves here, Charlie. We've got a big game 6 tonight. Let's focus in on that. I've got a few cold ones in the fridge that have my name on it. Probably order a little Uber Eats here shortly, and just kick back and enjoy the game. Hopefully, we win some money with those hazy bets, and we just keep the fun rolling for the weekend.
Yeah, let's go. Let's enjoy the game, buddy.
Yeah, you too. And thanks everybody for listening in live. Glad to have you with us for the pregame. Enjoy the game. Have a great long weekend, and we'll talk to you guys soon.